Well, just like any other Friday afternoon here on the plains, Jay Billis is on the main floor, and there are 1,000 kids camping out in Jungleville. I call it Jungleville. Um, you could feel the energy on campus, and college game days here. Kentucky's in town. Um, a reminder that tomorrow is the Outlive game, and I know that tomorrow when I come into this media room, I will see all of you in your Outlive T-shirts, which you will have purchased for $25, and I will thank you for supporting Outlive. Um, and um, the game is extremely important, but I'm going to call a 20-second timeout and just tell you that, in partnership with the Mike Sly Family Foundation for Cancer Research, um, we will be having free prostate screenings, testing, blood tests on the concourse tomorrow. We'll have over 100 men have their prostate screened and checked, okay? If we have 100 men that do that, 10 will find out they have prostate cancer or are about to have prostate cancer. And so outlive is important because the best way to survive your cancer is detect it early. And so I encourage all of our fans to get here early and take advantage of those free screenings. I will be doing it, uh, getting my annual screenings, and my numbers have gone up over the years. And I'm a candidate for prostate cancer at some point. Um, and hopefully, if that ever does happen, we'll know about it sooner than later. Um, so appreciate everybody again buying your T-shirts. If you come to the game tomorrow and somebody's sitting next to you and they don't have a T-shirt, please shame them into buying one. Um, don't want any fistfights in the stands, but I promise you that I would be doing it. Um, Kentucky's really good. They're one of the best offensive teams in the country. They have five guys averaging double digit scoring, four guards. They're a really tough cover. Um, they've got four or five guys that are in mock drafts, for next year. Um, and um, they are like third or fourth in the nation in block shots. They do a great length. They do a great job protecting the rim. We struggled against Florida's length, and we're going to have to find a way to not allow Kentucky's length to have the same have the same impact on us that Florida's length did. Um, this is the best 3-point shooting team that John Calipari's had, in my opinion. Um, there's about three or four guys out there that, if they can see it, they can make it, making them a really, really tough cover. Our guys have obviously worked really hard to put themselves in position and be in position.
So I believe Auburn had beaten Kentucky once in like 25 years before you got here. I think you're 6-8 against them all time. I guess how have you, now that you're sitting here for another college game day game against Kentucky, seen Auburn kind of rise that it can be at this point where it's consistently competing against the standard of the SEC, whereas it maybe hadn't before you got here?
Well, I mean, Kentucky's still the gold standard in our league, and they always will be. That's never going to change. And if you want to be relevant in the world of college basketball, if you want to be relevant in the SEC, you got to beat Kentucky every now and then. And so, we were able to do it my second year, which obviously gave us some wind in our sails, and a little bit of hope that we could get this thing going. So I like, we having been at Tennessee at a time when Auburn was good but not great. It was simply a game that we had on our schedule that we didn't want to overlook, that we knew we had to play hard to win, but it wasn't one that we were excited about playing. And we wanted to work really hard so that Auburn basketball wouldn't be holding the rest of the league down. And maybe someday it would be a game that other teams at the top of our league would be excited about playing.
Coach, forgive the kind of funny question here, but you talked about the kids camping out. I'm curious, have you ever camped out for anything? And if not, what is something that maybe would get you to camp out, for 24, 60 hours?
Well, I mean, as a kid, we camped out. That was, as a kid, we camped out. That was a lot of fun. And we camped out more than just in some neighbor's backyard, We'd go walk a trail and hang out and camp out. So I enjoyed that. I don't know that I've never camped out for a ball game. The closest thing I guess I could, when I was a student at Boston College, one of the things that I was in charge of was getting the buses, as a student, was getting the buses to go to the Big East tournament, student buses. And then we did get one bus to go to Bloomington, Indiana, that I organized and brought some students as a student out to an NCAA tournament. It was actually a regional in Bloomington. I didn't travel with a team on that trip. Coach Davis had me organize a bus trip, and so that's the closest thing I think I've ever gotten to be camping out.
Bruce, other than shooting the basketball, what do you when you turn on the film from Wednesday night? What do you show your team and say, hey, that's one of the keys for this team to be successful? Is there anything?
One of the things about short preps is I'm sure the kids have watched the game themselves. They have not watched it with me. You get done with the game Wednesday night, and you're just on to Kentucky right away. And so, we took open shots. We took some shots in rhythm. We took shots in rhythm on a big lead. And that's sort of helpful to, to be able to make more shots. The tough shots are the ones in the first, 10 minutes of each half, when you're really going to be contested, when you're really going to be guarded, and so I thought the big key would be, I thought we really shared the ball. I mean, I thought we worked hard to try to keep that ball moving and turn down good shots to get some better shots. And obviously, Jalen Williams had some big, tough shots in the first half, and it helped us a lot. And then, Jedi obviously making 3 in the second half expanded our lead. The thing you got to worry about with Kentucky is long shots, long rebounds, and they're elite in transition. So if they're not taking the ball out of the net after a 3, they're pushing it down the floor and they're dunking it on you or shooting their own threes.
Bruce, obviously you guys have played guards that can score this year, but Reeves is maybe a bit on the taller end. I think he's like 6'6". How do you think Denver and some of those perimeter guys are going to be able to handle that?
Reeves has always killed us. I mean, he's always killed us. He's a big, long, physical guard. Really shoots it. He's improved his float game, his mid-range game. Shepard leads the league in steals. He's a dynamic point guard, great shooter, great playmaker, has great patience and poise. Already a Kentucky favorite. Dillingham is a one-man scoring machine. He scores like I breathe. I mean, he's a very, very dangerous microwave type of a player. Wagner is, and all those guys I just mentioned, Wagner may be the highest ranked as far as the pros are concerned. Yeah, they're really talented. They're really big, and that's why they're at Kentucky.
Adam, and then Matt with the last question. Just it seems like at times there's been a point made about Kentucky that they have trouble defending this year. But I know you mentioned the length and the shot blocking ability, but when they're on defensively, like what sticks out about them on that end?
I think when they're on defensively, they're flying around and they're blocking shots and I think there's no question Kentucky's going to play with unbelievable effort and energy tomorrow, especially early in the games and early in the half. They've also not been completely healthy. They've got great depth, and they played a lot of different players. But I think in the last game against Ole Miss, it was the first time they had everybody available to them. So, Kentucky is absolutely not a team that anybody wants to see in postseason play because they're so dangerous.
Bruce, you mentioned after the game that you wanted to give Denver a look at point guard. Watching the tape, how do you feel like he did? Is that something that we may see some more of as we go forward?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I thought that Denver is a very, versatile guard, and I think the issue there was simply K.D. Johnson and Denver both playing well and needing more than just the 40 minutes at the two spot.
You mentioned the length of Kentucky and kind of how length has given you guys issues. I think the team that kind of gave you guys the most issues here was probably Texas A&M, which had that same length to an extent. I guess are you looking back at that game at all? Kind of does playing that game at home against a team like that matter to you in any way?
You hope that that obviously the home court advantage inspires your guys, and you hope that it bothers the opponent. Kentucky actually plays better on the road. A lot of pressure in Rupp Arena to win, and they've lost, I think, 3 games at home. And sometimes they get away from home, and there's just a lot less pressure. A lot of pressure at Kentucky to win, and so as a result, they've done really well on the road, and they've shot it well on the road. And they've got, again, the kind of talent that can be fearless. These are confident players.